Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be reviewing Season 3 of Doctor Who. So without any further ado, I'm gonna do the review. So we're starting off with The Runaway Bride. This episode is just okay, it introduces us to Donna and that. And it's kind of like a epilogue to Season 2. But overall it was just okay. Nothing really that great happened in it. So I give The Runaway Bride about a 6 out of 10, because it's okay, and it's entertaining enough. And then for the monster, that being the Empress of the Arachnos, I give her an 8 out of 10, because it's very creative and looks pretty cool, and a little bit creepy too. The next episode is called Smith and Jones, and I'd say that's a fairly decent episode. We get introduced to Martha, the new companion for Season 3, and it's all like on the moon and that, in a hospital, so it's crazy, and then you got that blood-sucking woman. So overall I'd give the episode about a 5.9, because, it's just kind of standard, nothing too crazy or fun. So in terms of, rating the villains of the episode, of course you got the blood-sucking woman, but because she legit just looks like a human woman, I'm not gonna, sort of review that, because it'll just be like a 0 out of 10, because it just looks like a person. But however, the Jadoom, I'd give them an 8 out of 10. They're really cool. So rhino police bounty hunters, very good effects on them, and they're great. And there's not too many stories with them in, unfortunately. The next episode is called The Shakespeare Code, and that rhymed, I think. And it's got sort of witches in, and it's set in like Shakespearean times, so you get to see him and like all his plays and that. And it's an okay episode. I remember liking it the first time I watched it ages ago, but then I rewatched it recently and it's just not as good as I remember. So I'd have to give it a 5 out of 10, because it's just, okay. And as for the witches, I'd have to rate them a 3, because they're basically people but just slightly deformed looking with sharp teeth. And then there's Gridlock, the next episode, which I didn't rewatch because I don't remember it being that great. All I remember is that there's Brannigan, the cat person, and then the Macra are in it, and I really don't want to rewatch it. So from memory, I'll give it, I don't know, a 3. Not that great. As for the monsters of the episode, you do get to see the face of Bo, but I already reviewed him in season 1. So for the Macra, I would have to give them probably a 2, because they're just crabs but giant, so not much creativity going in there, or coolness. The next episode, or episode should I say, because it's a 2-parter, is called Daleks in Manhattan, An Evolution of the Daleks. Well, I remember it being very good, but then I rewatched it and it turned out it wasn't that good. So I'd have to give the episode, episodes, probably about a 4 out of 10, not that great. It's cool to see a human Dalek though, and the pigmen, a bit weird. Speaking of the pigmen are 5.5 out of 10, because they're okay, the effects are pretty cool on them. But at the end of the day, they're just pigmen. They're not cool, a little bit creepy, but not too scary. Next is the human Dalek. He, however, is a 10 out of 10, because that is a really cool design and amazing effects on it. Weird voice though. The next episode is one of my favourites, however, and it's called The Lazarus Experiment. It's really cool how, he sort of ages and then mutates, and how it relates to the ending story of the season. So I'd have to give it a 10 out of 10, because it's really enjoyable, I find. The monster design of Richard Lazarus, all mutated, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It was an almost 10 out of 10 for the design, but the CGI is not very good, so I have to give it an 8 out of 10. The next episode, like Gridlock, I didn't rewatch because I remember the episode currently that we're talking about, 42, not being very good. It's also written by Chris Chibnall, and I don't know why I mentioned him and not very good at the same sentence. Although some people will think he is not the greatest writer, I think he's okay. You know, he is the current showrunner, and he's done some good stories. Mostly in season 12, I'd say, because I like some of them, you know. But anyway, yeah, the episode wasn't that great from memory, so I give it a 2. Yeah, the monster of the episode, I didn't even bother to look up the name. It's just that guy with the face mask thing who says "burn with me," or someone says "burn with me" in the episode. I don't remember who, but yeah, he's a 3 out of 10. He's okay. The next episodes are a 2-parter called Human Nature and the Family of Blood, and people say these are really great episodes, but no, they're very overrated, so I'd have to give them a 6 out of 10, you know, they're just okay, not as good as people say. And the monsters of the episode, other than the Family of Blood, because once again they're just people, are the Scarecrows, and I give the Scarecrows a 7 out of 10, they're pretty cool looking and spooky, especially towards crows. And then from one overrated 2-parter to just an overrated episode is Blink. It's good, but overrated. And yeah, it's got the Weeping Angels in and all that, their first appearance. So I'd rate the episode about a 7.7 out of 10, you know, it's alright. And then the Weeping Angels can be a 7 out of 10 because they're statues and they're a bit creepy, so that's as much as I can really give them. We are now on to the series finale, which is a 3-parter, which is a bit different for once. And the episodes are Utopia, The Sound of Drums, and Last of the Time Lords. All of the episodes here are great, and I'm not going to say anything more than that. They're just all great. So I'd have to give the whole 2-parter a 10 out of 10 for being amazing, or fantastic, you may say. So in terms of the monsters of the episode, I can't review the master, because once again he just looks like a person, but the Toclafane I can review. I give them a 5 out of 10 because they're just sort of orbs, but however, they are pretty cool when you open them up to see that is the head inside. So that's it, finally done season 3, so, well, I mean, I have nothing else to say, except from, see you guys all later, and here come the drums.